through. Toys maybe not able to carry through with his own voice, but that's why it's game one in a best of 5. You have plenty other opportunities to win. We can see going right back into the pick and bans. So far, pretty consistent. Now we're seeing the Rumble actually going to be the newest band coming out.
I actually really like this band. May is such a huge part of this team, and I think putting him on a damage threat really relieves a lot of the pressure on God JJ, because despite the fact that we know now that God JJ has a slightly larger champion pool, he still isn't the most consistent player. Yeah. So AHQ identifying that they can put more pressure on God JJ by limiting the carry champions May has access to. The downside of this exchange, though, however, is now AHQ picking this up for themselves. Ziv on his legendary Maokai.
Yeah, looking to just go ahead and pick that one up in the first round. We saw the Echo hover, so that could go over to Dinter, who historically can really apply some map pressure. We haven't really seen too much Gragas from him. Didn't really work out so well in that last game, so we'll see what he wants to do this time around. Hovering over the Sejuani, be really interested to see if that one gets locked in. But the Sivir also available. Wouldn't be too surprised if we see that snatched up for God JJ in this first round.
It's going to be a big question. The Ziv taking the Maokai indicates nothing for the opposing team. Ziv's Maokai is efficient in the lane, amazing in the mid to late game team fights, but really does not reveal anything of what AHQ want to do. The big advantage for Hong Kong Esports this time on the red side, they do get the double pick, and additionally they get the last pick, which is going to be so crucial for not only giving Toys a comfortable lane, but also for trying and doing their best to shut down Westdoor. So Westdoor going to be a little bit more uncomfortable on blue side, doesn't get that last pick, has to show his hand a little bit sooner, and of course, I mean, look at the mid lane focus from both sides. 2 champions bound out from both these guys. Don't want to give Toys those powerful control mages, don't want to give Westdoor those comfort picks. Very solid pick ban from both sides.
Yeah, and that will be the Sivir and Rek'Sai starting off here for the set of Hong Kong Esports, so nothing too shocking. Dinter as well on this Rek'Sai. I believe in the last game that he played against Flash Wolves yesterday, just phenomenal play coming out with that champion right there, so nothing too shocking to see. We'll see how impactful he can be this time around instead of on that Gragas. So moving forward with that. Now the hover's coming through. Kalista was banned out in this first game. This is open for On. He could snatch that one up, or he could take his Vayne.
That's very true. Vayne obviously considered very efficient at denying Sivir her ability to split push, which could be a huge thing. But additionally, you have to remember that it's always going to be tough to play Vayne in these early compositions, just because no matter what lane you put her in, even the Sivir lane where she's in theory going to do well, she can just get pushed out. She can just be zoned out early, and looks like they are going to go with the Kalista, though, locking this one in. HKE, of course, on the opposite side with a fast response. I love this Kalista pick coming in for On, paired with a playmaking support in the hands of Albus. Going to try to really once again make an impact with that Thresh like we saw last game.
Yeah, he was already on point when it came down to his plays and his death sentences. You give him that Fate's Call where he can just be thrusted straight into the middle of the enemy team, drop the box on them. He should be able to excel. Next round of picks, the Gnar actually coming out here for May. Not one that we've seen him play, very recently. So going to be interested to see how he manages that on the top lane against Ziv's Maokai, just because it's so legendary. But this is a pairing that we saw yesterday. Actually, the Alistar comes through from Ola. Played a very fantastic game with that. Game-changing with that support role.
And of course, talking to Fluid Winds yesterday, the coach of the Flash Wolves, he's like, Korean Alistar OP, Ola's Alistar OP. There's a reason this is banned against him so much. But this is the thing about pick bans with these two teams is if you don't shut down the mid lane, they're going to run rampant. So the supports both get to take their choice of what they want to play. Albus once again opting for the Thresh, but Ola showing a little bit more flexibility. Did not like that Morgana last time around, picking up this Alistar, and of course May on this Gnar. That's a big question for us. We haven't seen the Gnar yet from him.
Yep, last 2 picks, though, from the side of AHQ will be that Echo and the Ahri. So one of Westdoor's staple champions coming to the forefront. Another assassin, who would have thunk it. So grabbing that one up from himself. Now all eyes are on Toys to see what he's going to take into this matchup to try to come out on top. Right now we have the long hover over this Orianna.
We'll see. I'm always excited to see Toys play this champion. But this is kind of Westdoor's go-to safe laner, right? Because Diana obviously can sit and wait, but she's not necessarily guaranteed to have an impact. But they see this Sivir, they see this Rek'Sai, this early game strength coming in from the side of Hong Kong Esports, and they want someone that can step. They want someone that can go toe-to-toe in the early lane and play a little more aggressive. So they pick Westdoor this Ahri, knowing they can always play aggressive. But Toys on the opposite side, this is huge.
Yeah. Going right to that Orianna, one of his staple champions. The Control Mage, indeed, coming to the forefront.
The Control Mage versus Assassin matchup. This is what we wanted to see when we talk about AHQ and Hong Kong esports going head-to-head. And everybody loves the toys Orianna, right? Pretty much defined this champion for everyone. But it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep up here. Westor has shown us time and time again that he is comfortable on this Ahri under any circumstances.
Yeah, but look at the team composition that Hong Kong esports are really bringing to the forefront. They have that Orianna, but they also have the Alistar with the Headbutt Pulverize. You have the Gnar. He can bounce in with the Mega Gnar, and then Shockwave on top of everybody. That is a phenomenal combination that they bring to the forefront of this comp.
I really do like this too. I think the Wombo comps are very much the style of what we've seen from HKE. They like to have that team fighting power and pressure. And while it's not necessarily as easy to execute as the Victor, it's going to be really powerful. They're doing what they want to do. But at the end of the day, I mean, AHQ esports are up a game, and they're looking very dominant.
Yeah, looking very dominant indeed. We're going to see if Hong Kong esports can net themselves a win or if AHQ is going to lead up 2-0. Find out when we get onto the Rift, which is going to be happening in a few scant minutes here. The tension in the room is building.
Everything for these guys is on the line. You never want to be at match point in a best of 5. That's more pressure than already being here in the finals unexpectedly. And for HKE, they have to step up this game. And we're going to have to see if they can perform building a comp that I think fits their play style better.
All right, and here we go on to the Rift for Game 2. Once again, if you guys are just joining us, welcome to the League of Legends Masters Series. My name is Seth Achilleos King. With me is Daniel C. Fedrakos. We are on to the Rift for our second game of the night in this best of 5 in the grand finals. AHQ currently up a game, coming off of a pretty crushing win in the latter half of that match. Hong Kong esports, who had a pretty great performance midway through that match, let victory slip through their fingers, going to be looking to get a firmer grasp on it this time around.
Yeah, and I just have to say that I'm really loving the pick ban from both teams. We see Mei once again given a champion that can do damage, that can build tanky, so good flexibility, but not a champion we've seen him prove himself on yet, so a little bit of questions. But the bot lane is going to be the biggest factor. God JJ on the Sivir, his best champion on Kalista, arguably one of the strongest duelists in the game, one of the strongest mid-game power spike focus AD carry, mid-game of course, the area where HKE usually shines. So two very, very solid AD carry players going head-to-head, but on with a much better overall track record. So we have to wonder, I mean, who's going to get the early advantage? But it doesn't even look like we're going to get to see the 2v2 lane, HKE swapping up here. And actually, I really like this choice. I don't think they want to face the head-to-head, and of course, can't go through without talking about the last game's key player.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at Westor's stats at the end of that game. 10, 3, and 6, 29,000 damage. Teleport, Nashor's Tooth just wrecking the back line of HKE every single time there was a team fight. His flanks were just on point.
And exactly, and that's part of the reason why Westor is so successful as an assassin player, as we see Ola taking a lot of damage here.
A lot of damage indeed.
I think he's bluffing that they didn't... No, they can see separate. Never mind. I thought they were bluffing that they weren't swapping lanes to try to force poor wave management, but it doesn't look like that's actually what's going to go through. So God JJ, of course, on the top side. But Westor, playing these champions so well because he positions so well, because he flanks so well. That is the reason why he can have what some would consider a less than viable champion pool, is because his map movement and his team fight movement is insane.
Yeah, because see, Albus doing the staple thresh start. You go in and wreak as much havoc as you can in the enemy jungle. Trying to harass out. Dinter says, you know what, I'm not even going to finish the wolf camp. I'll just move on to the next one if you're going to be a jerk like that.
Moving on with the rest of the team. They're like, all right, one Thresh. Don't want to risk him stealing anything else. We've seen what HKE can do with steals. No reason to give up any early advantages here. But let's talk about the lane swap, this big focus point for both teams. AHQ, they weren't always considered the strongest team in the macro sense, and in a lot of ways they aren't, but their early game strategy has been consistently on point. They know how to play these lane swap situations so well, and they play them so quickly too, which is key in executing and gaining an advantage in the early game. You can see Mei going down, but this is HKE a little bit behind. They're adapting, I think, a little bit slower, and AHQ, the ball is in their court, and they're starting to run with it already. Very confident early laning phase.
Yeah, very confident indeed. You can see God JJ trying to go up against Ziv here should have a pretty decent time in that top lane. Has that spell shield to mitigate a lot of the harass that Ziv's going to be looking to output onto him. but already a CS discrepancy building between these AD carries. Ola in a little bit of a bad spot as Mountain comes around. The Death Sentence will connect. They jump over the wall. They can play him back. They do. Mei is here to help out, but here comes On from the bottom side. Flash has been used, as has the exhaust. Ola in a very bad spot. Parallel convergence comes across. He's going to get stunned up. That's first blood yet again. Going over to Mountain. Now Mei maybe going down as well. Westor on the backside takes him out, and that's AHQ with such a strong start, just 4 minutes in.
And once again, here is the big thing. Their map movement is always confident, but when they pick the Diana, they forfeit Westor's ability to play early aggressive. Not with this Ahri. Comes down with the charm, comes down with the quick roam, maybe has to give up some CS, but makes such a huge impact for the team. Additionally, the big thing I want to point on here, they tried to give that kill over to On. I think this is a bad teleport.
This could be bad. Mei coming right back in. No Narbar whatsoever. The turret is going to go down. He's not going to be able to find anything. Looks like AHQ want to pull off of this one. Dinter has shown his face as well for that added support, so AHQ gonna peel out of here, but I think they're very content to get those 2 kills and the tower, and now they don't have to worry about Mei's teleport.
Exactly. Taking Mei's teleport out is going to be huge for upcoming Dragon control, denying HKE the ability to contest that early Dragon, or they have to be willing to give up a tower in exchange. So right now, once again, advantage to AHQ. Great early play. We saw them trying to give that early kill over to On. Makes a lot of sense. Kalista very effective when she finds that early snowball. And the difference between these two characters really is that Sivir, obviously very strong with 2 items, not nearly as strong as Kalista. If Kalista can get to those big items early on, she's going to be such a monster. And already we're seeing the lanes swapped back here on both sides. They're content to just keep letting On farm up.
And that is going to be very deadly in the long run. We can see the Berserker Greaves coming out very early for him. He's going to be looking to just stack as many spears into his opponents as he possibly can. I want to see where he's going to take this build path moving forward.
I think we'll probably see the Bloodthirster, although Blade of the Rune King, maybe due to the fact that we saw the nerf, obviously, on the attack damage scaling for Kalista. But the boots, too, are such an important buy because her leap distance is directly determined by her movement speed. So by rushing boots too early on, you're able to guarantee a lot more mobility, which will let you avoid these Gnar boomerangs, which will let you avoid Dinter barreling down on you as that Rek'Sai pick. So On opting for some very safe itemization despite the early lead that he's accrued.
Yeah, and we should go ahead and take the time to note that with 5.13, Kalista cannot cast her Q mid-leap to extend that one. So cannot do that anymore, but that being said, like, you know, as you were covering, those Berserker Greaves are really going to help On out immensely. Dinter coming around this top side of the map, seeing what he can do. You look at the pop-up and try to just get some damage in onto Albus, takes him down to half HP, but there's not going to be too much action coming out in that regard. Mei trying to build up that Narbar. So far struggling a little bit. You can see 16 to 27 CS between those 2 top laners. Not able to find any footing, and that's something that he's going to need if he wants to become this massive teamfight impacting force with that Mega Gnar.
And we could see a skirmish here on the top side, though. Looks like both teams are just going to back off. I do believe that Dinter got sight on that pink ward, so they'll know it's there.
Yeah.
Not going to see too much aggression, though. God JJ, you know, with that turret down, more than content just to keep farming here. He has the level 6, though. The On the Hunt, obviously such a crucial ability. I'm wondering where HKE are going to take this next. And Mountain, he's set up. He's waiting for this gank, but Mega Gnar's available. It's nearly impossible to dive this tower.
Yeah, well, they could just sit there and wait for the Mega Gnar to wear off. It's only going to be a couple of seconds before he no longer has that one. Ola, level 3, very much at a disadvantage here compared to On's damage. That Death Sentence not going to land, goes through onto the minion. But looks like the tower in that top side will be safe for the time being, but Mountain is wrapping his way around by that tri-brush. So they may want to commit onto this.
They're very determined to dive this. Mini-Gnar, of course, just not really any kind of threat here, but Westor now moving up as well. I'm not sure if they have the sight to really stop this. He is going to get spotted on the tunnel. He's taking out the tunnel, so they know Westor is on the way. They're going to go for it.
Mei is bounced back. Ola gets a nice double pulverized headbutts out. Albus gets exhausted, but that's going to be the Fate's call to drag him to safety. They throw him back in. Mei gets popped up. Westor with his arrival takes down Ola. They're going to find another kill, and that's Mountain taken out. Mei, meanwhile, Dinter and going in onto Ziv. God JJ comes forward with On the Hunt. They should be able to get this kill onto the Maokai. There's nowhere for him to run. The backswing not going to catch him, but one last auto attack will finish him off. But it's a 2-for-1 across the board. AHQ stretching this lead and looking for that tier 2 as well.
And this is how we expected AHQ to play the start of every single game. Once again, their early game is the most confident in the LMS. They know how to play the map. They know how to move around the map. But now that Westor is on an early to mid-game champion that can have impact, not waiting for that scaling like Diana, he is a part of these fights so much sooner and is making this movement so much more powerful. HKE seem resigned to the back foot. They're not able to do anything just yet.
Yeah, and we can really see that Toys is not going to become an impactful force for his team either. Tear of the Goddess really going to delay his power spike. Just not looking good for Hong Kong Esports. A much larger gold discrepancy already built up just 9 minutes into this game. Dragon has not yet become a point of contention, but it's only a matter of time before AHQ set their eyes on that side of the map.
And here's the thing, and it's good that you point out Toy's scaling choice of items, because Orianna is not a very high impact champion in the early to mid game. She really needs a few items under her belt to get going. Obviously a clutch shockwave is always going to be effective, but her real damage output comes in the mid to late when she also has the ability to offer that utility, when she has those great setups, whereas Westor is now the one with the early game impact champion in his hand. No longer is it Toys on the Jace, it's Toys on the Orianna, and this is gonna take time to get going, and HKE are running out of time already.
Yeah, and questionable build path, what with May having such a struggle at the start of this game. 0 and 2 actually looks like he's going to be going for the Black Cleaver. So questionable that he's not just going to tank up here. He's going to be looking to, be as damaging as he possibly can be against Ziv in this top lane, but I just don't know if I agree with it. Death Sentence lands onto God JJ. In the meantime, Mountain is here to follow up. Flash coming out from the Sivir, keeping him alive. Just AHQ playing in all the right spots right now.
I really would have liked to see some magic resist itemization coming in early from May. He really needs to be able to survive in these fights. I think Black Cleaver is a good choice, but not as your first item. Yes, it is important that Rek'Sai and Sivir be able to do more damage. A triple AD threat is powerful on the side of your team. However, by building this early, when you're in Mini-Gnar, you're going to get absolutely decimated without those early defensive stats. Yes, you will still be somewhat tanky in Mega-Gnar, but that's not ideal. You need to be tanky in both forms, and you can't rely on a single Gnar ultimate to change the fight. You have to be tankier than that. You have to be able to survive longer than that.
So far, 3,000 gold separating these teams, plus a dragon. HKE not looking like they have a way into this game quite just yet. Need to make some sort of team-oriented play to come out on top of this. As the HQ is just pressuring all fronts. That tier 1 mid tower, the only one left standing, as Toys is counting over that one and watching it as best as he can. And will throw his ball over the wall. Spots out Albus and Mountain, who are trying to close in on him. He's not going to be able to hold this one by himself. So this is AHQ pressuring so intelligently, netting themselves every single tier 1 tower on the map. Already, Toys taking a lot of damage.
Pierce already doing so much, even with those nerfs to the AD scaling on Callista. The early max just ripping through the health bar of Toys. So effective, this early damage. And I mean, Toys, as we said, scaling up, really doesn't have enough AP in his kit yet to clear out these waves effectively. Can't one-shot the back wave, can't one-shot those caster creeps, and as a result, it's so very easy for AHQ to push in. And normally we see AHQ, at least from what we saw last game, kind of struggle to break the inhibitor. They were really relegated to letting Westor just farm up in the mid lane, not using him. But now that once again that Westor is a part of this map movement, a part of this team play, they're pushing in their advantage harder than they ever did in game 1.
Yeah, and they just don't want to give HKE a shot at coming back in this one. They acknowledge that they almost let that game slip out of their hands, and they don't want to give HKE an inch because they'll likely take a mile if they do so. Gold lead stretching ever so slowly. Been a little bit of a slow game here. AHQ not really out for blood in this game, just looking for those objectives, and they've been acquiring them left and right so far. See Dinter with that Void Rush. No red buff to be taken. Might pay a visit up to this top side of the map, but I don't know how impactful he can really be. Ziv is already looking pretty tanky on that Maokai with that
Ziv
ninja
just
Tabi.
isn't the person that you want to focus at this stage of the game. You need to shut down On or Westor, but they just don't have the tools to do so. They don't have the gold to go toe-to-toe with these guys right now, especially as On and Albus, you can see bullying in here. Look at the vision control on the bottom side of the map for AHQ. They know this jungle belongs to them. Even Ziv on the top side, where he should be weaker, isn't scared.
Yeah, going toe-to-toe against Dinter as he takes out that Gromp, clearing out those tunnel systems, getting himself what little gold he can out of that exchange. Dinter just not able to find his footing in these first 2 games so far and become impactful. The Echo was available for them to take on the side of HKE. Maybe they should have opted to go for that.
They do have the tools to take this tower. I think HKE can get this one, but it's not going to be for free because look at AHQ. Once again, on the bottom side of the map, HKE will find a small respite, but only for a few seconds.
Oh, Westor goes in. He gets the charm. Toys taking a hell of a lot of damage. Uses that cleanse to get out of the taunt. Very quick for him to snatch that one up. Now May in a very bad spot. Has to flash out in the spots of the map. On just ripping through his HP bar with nothing more than a BF sword and a Vamp Scepter. They're going to take this tower, I think. They're sticking around. Ola, not too much he can do. Headbutts on away just to try to stop it, but
beautiful wave management from AHQ. The way that they stack these waves here means that they had the free time to pressure up, to get aggressive on May, to force that tower dive, even if they didn't get the kill, because they had functionally 3 waves stacked behind them. It gave them such a huge timing window here, and so much damage going down, taking out this tower. Of course, they lose one on the top side, but think about everything that HKE lost there. So many cooldowns burned, teleport down for May, flash down as well, and the cleanse down for Toys, and the cleanse is going to be incredibly crucial. You saw how much Westor did with a single rotation, even as he hit the cleanse, even as he denied that bonus damage from the charm and that CC. So hard for HKE right now. They need to find a way back in.
Yeah, and the question is, are AHQ going to allow that to happen? I fear the answer is no. They're just playing so surgically across the board here. May doing what he can to get caught back up, still only sitting on that Phage and Merc treads, just not going to be terribly impactful in these fights, in these team fights, unless he can get a massive Gnar ultimate into the wall. But I don't think that AHQ, with their superior positioning, are going to allow that to happen.
The thing is, as well as AHQ move across the map, Sivir gives such a huge boon to HKE as a whole to allow them to maneuver well, to respond appropriately. If May can manage his rage appropriately, and if they can find a full-on 5v5 team fight, the setup here with the Gnar, with the Rek'Sai, with the Orianna and the Alistar, you could blow up all of AHQ in an instant. But everything has to come together for that to happen. They need to put the pieces into place. They need to put down the warding around Dragon if they want to force a fight there. That's a great opportunity. But outside of that, their options are steadily becoming more and more limited. And they're relying on every one of their skills coming together and being used together in order to win a fight, because as individual players, HKE cannot win this game. Their team needs to play together or they will lose.
And the problem with that is that AHQ are just hitting on all fronts. So even if HKE want to stick together, they're going to lose an objective on one side of the map. You can see the pressure being applied by On the top side, getting some good damage in onto that tier 2. A bot one gone. Should only really be a matter of time for this mid, because Westor has such a strong residency right now in that mid side of the map.
Passively farming on the bottom side. He's trying to stack those waves up so someone has to respond. He's going to have about 2 stacked up there. Coming in, actually just 1 wave as he clears out.
He's drawing in May, who doesn't have teleport. Ziv has his available. He can stick around here. They can force up the top side. Ziv will be able to respond and May will not.
Of course, they're not going to be able to do too much with this Hong Kong esports. Toys has now hit the point in the game with that needlessly large rod that he can clear out these waves with relative ease. So that is going to buy them at least a little bit of time on the side of AHQ. However, AHQ are still pushing in so aggressively. HKE looking for a play here, though. If they find On, this could be huge.
This could absolutely be enormous. Looks like they might have to settle for Albus, but that's going to be the face call. They drag him out. They actually throw him back in. The flay back comes through. That's going to be the box drop. Dinter joining his team. Albus so low, kiting out as fast as he can. Looks like he will be safe. HKE cannot aggress more than they already have. And Westor's getting ready to join his team as well. Meganar burned in the bot lane. May still no teleport. Ziv just holding on to his, but ready to pull that trigger if needed.
Of course, Gnar's teleport will be up shortly. The big thing we have to talk about, you cannot play so aggressive on a support that is paired with a Callista, just because at any moment Fate's Call is going to pull him out. So while, yes, it looks like, oh my god, we've got this beautiful pick, we've got this beautiful setup, all On has to do is push that ultimate, pulls him back out. They throw him back in because they're ready to fight and they're ready to hunt down these kills, but at the end of the day, there's no way you're going to burst them down before On can react. On is not going to let that happen.
So general reset there. HKE do hold on to that tower and onto their lives. Fate's Call, of course, a pretty short cooldown, will be back up momentarily. It's already halfway past that point. We can see AHQ rotating down, just constantly doing something. This is something that we see, you know, HKE suffer with, even in the games versus Midnight Sun, arguably a lesser
weaker team. Yeah, 100% a weaker team.
And you know, Hong Kong Esports has suffered with not knowing what to do with themselves on the map. AHQ, they don't suffer for that. They're always doing something. They take the second dragon of the game, 18.5 minutes in, and now they're moving straight onto the bus.
Ooh. Mountain, of course, going to take that one away from himself. No one going to be able to contest the smite, at least at this point in the game. But it's good that you point that out, because this is the difference between AHQ when Westor is able to come to the fights and move with the team, and when Westor is on that Diana and is relegated to farming up and to waiting for these mid to late game itemization spikes. Because now that AHQ can move as 5, they no longer hesitate in the mid game like we saw last time around. Now they're so much more confident because they get to use each and every one of their members to apply pressure onto HKE. And as you said, HKE historically not great at making these clutch decisions when under pressure.
And the pressure is certainly on. Gold lead has actually kind of been stagnant, not growing too much. Only a few hundred here, separating, you know, from previous. So HQ not stretching too much in the way of gold, but objective control is on point. Those dragons really going to help them burn down this tower. You can see on stick around a little bit, but has to respect Ola. That's going to be on the hunt pop, but there it is. He flashes in for the pulverize. Can't find it. The dark passage taking on to safety.
And this is the beauty of the Thresh Callista lane, is that it's so safe. This pair right here, so safe. And because they burn so many cooldowns, once again, AHQ have built a composition where they never have to commit on anyone else's terms but their own. HKE can force a fight, yes, but if they don't force it flawlessly, AHQ, just as we saw there, can back off, use their pressure points elsewhere on the map to find an advantage. You said that gold lead was stagnant. Well, AHQ have once again found a way to make it grow.
And they're going to keep doing that now, taking away these buffs, denying them as much as possible. Mountain having to smite that one away. Can't give it over to On. Albus, that death sentence almost connecting. Would have been very bad for Dinter had that one gone through.
And once again, going over the win conditions here for HKE, we're looking at the Wombo combo. They need to find this full, they need to find either a skirmish where they can use these ultimates in succession to take out 2 or 3 members of AHQ, or they need to find a full-on 5 teammate. One of the hardest things to do is going to be able to find those 5-man shockwaves. And AHQ, as you said, are not giving them the opportunity to use these win conditions. They're splitting them up. They're not letting them move as 5, fight as 5, whatsoever. And they're, of course, just perfectly kiting away. You saw Albus play back, knowing that On, the only way that they lose is if On gets caught out. So he plays back, allows him to throw out the lantern. When Albus is playing forward, On plays back, so he can use the Fate's Call. And it's honestly just impressive play from AHQ to identify so quickly, and a little unfortunate from HKE because they have built a comp that is countered perfectly by how AHQ plays the game.
See that Void Rush coming out, but Dinter not going to be able to find too much. Jungle has been cleared, just looking to rejoin his team and offer up his moral support by being present. This gold lead almost to 6,000, about 5,500 currently separating them. We can see Baron Vision is starting to become a very important thing on this map. Alvis clearing out 2 wards with that 1 pink that he has placed down. AHQ are really poised to take this Baron pretty much at any time. They get another skirmish and get you know, even 1 pick, they can go straight for that objective.
Well, and they have one of the best characters in the game at neutral objective control, which is Callista, because she can outdamage that smite, and on a much more veteran player than Karsa.
Oh, Dinter's going in on the Westor though in this mid lane, and he's already down to half HP. Has to use the Spirit Rush to get himself to safety. Mountain in the thick of the team, however, gonna do what he can. Westor actually kiting back in, gonna try to get some damage in onto Ola, who's quite low. Nice Meganar will not find the stun, but that's gonna be Mei getting a kill onto Albus, who goes down. Toys on the backside, however, will get taken out by On, who is just starting to take off on this Callista. Ren not available, doesn't matter. He will auto attack to death right there on a God. JJ Dinter on the run. Not going to be able to go back in here. Overall, though, it's a 3 for 2 in favor of HKE. Looks like it might not be over as Ziv uses that twisted advance over onto Mei. He will do a little quick hop over the wall and get himself to safety. But On is still pushing up the lane.
At the start, that looks so good. You have that clutch headbutt backwards, knocking Westor out of the fight. Beautiful play from Ola. Albus, of course, trying to zone with the box, but at the end of the day, On is allowed to run free in the back line, and despite a beautiful Gnar ultimate to lock up Ziv, to lock up Albus, Mountain as well, I believe, just not going to be enough. You need to take out Westdoor. You need to take out On, and they can't find it. So watch here. Westdoor is going to get knocked out. He's very low, but Ola's not going to let him back in the fight. This is great. Keeps the Ahri away. The downside, I mean, now we get to watch God JJ come over the wall. He's going to do the damage to clean up these fights, but we're seeing Orianna just going to get soloed out by On as he comes into the team fight, and all the cooldowns are down. Ziv is still up. Ziv, the team-fighting Maokai monster, playing the perfect front line to allow On to do damage uninhibited, uncontested, as he just rips through the team there.
Fantastically played, or almost fantastically played there by AHQ. Do suffer an additional loss over their opponents, HKE, who almost had that opening that they need to shut down Westdoor and take him out. Now we can see hovering around this Baron pit currently. Vision Wars continuing. Neither team really able to find anything off of that skirmish. On though, stretching his lead, we see 215 CS to 170 over God JJ. 2 kills up, has not died yet, has those 4 assists in his pocket. The gold very obviously in his favor. Berserker Creeps for both of these guys, but a Bloodthirster and a Runaan's Hurricane completed for him. The Blade of the Rune King is on its way. It's only just a Zeal and an Infinity Edge for the side of God JJ.
And remember that Kalista, one of the few champions in the game that really has that oppressive 2-item power spike with the Bloodthirster, with the Runaan's Hurricane. Her teamfight damage just goes through the roof. She's able to dish out so much, and even with those nerfs, she can still be so oppressive. Obviously, she doesn't snowball nearly as hard as she used to, but when you're 2-0-4, when you have such a massive CS lead over your opponent, it doesn't matter. The advantage is made for you. And this Kalista has to be targeted, has to be dealt with, and it's going to be so very difficult for Hong Kong esports.
Yeah, especially when that Blade of the Rune King is completed. You can just kite away from literally everybody. Ola, Dinter, Mei, none of them are going to be able to stick on top of that Kalista because she's already so mobile. You give her that Blade of the Rune King with that,
and the thresh
steal your move
as
speed
well.
back thing. It's the active. It's so
Agreed.
Impossible.
The active, so perfect for spacing, so perfect for positioning in these team fights. Additionally, Albus very well set up to protect. Mountain, if you try to dive on, any moment he can throw down that parallel convergence and threaten that stun, threaten that damage. So not only does this AHQ comp have the flexibility to go in to threaten your backline with Mountain, with Westdoor, with Ziv, they can threaten to just peel for On and put you in a horrible position where you're never going to be able to get on top of that Kalista as she does so much damage. So the flexibility in the team fighting identity present here from HQ is just excellent. Once again, they're playing perfectly to their own style. They have all of the picks that they like to use, and while HKE seemingly has a very strong composition, they just cannot find a window of opportunity to make any impact.
Well, not necessarily out of it yet. Objective control has really been the game here for AHQ. 6-4, like I said, not a very bloody game so far. It still could stand to change, but if HKE could just group up and get some of these objectives, it would really help shrink this gold gap. 5,000 separating these teams right now. 3 dragons, of course, in the hands of HQ as well. Ola in a bad spot, gets charmed out. He's going to get melted out. Unbreakable Will comes across. Might be enough to keep him alive. And meanwhile, they go into Westdoor, and this bot side has got JJ Pops on the hunt. Mountain still playing so far forward. Looks like he may get taken out, but he's going to sprint out on the backside. Albus goes in. He gets absolutely melted. Toys finding that kill. This could be the fight that HKE need. Mountain, he snaps back with his ultimate, almost taken down. Ola with a very nice headbutt. Pulverize finds 2 of them. The shockwave comes through. God, JJ finishes off On, but Toys, he gets bound up by that charm. He will get out alive. It's a double kill going over to God JJ. That is the fight that Hong Kong esports needed.
And if you disrespect Hong Kong esports,
Toys.
if you go into a fight one at a time, they will rip you apart. Ziv was not there. On was not there. Albus, too aggressive. They didn't need the Wombo combo. They found it on 2, and that was enough. Hong Kong esports find a fight on their terms. When IHQ make a huge overstep, the game once again, you can never count HKE out as they move on to Baron.
They're trying to go for the Baron though, but Toys is already so low. Mountain is up and Ziv has teleport available. He's up in 3 seconds. I don't think that they can stop this. They cannot. Dinter confirms it. Mountain so far forward. Here comes Mei. He gets the Mega Gnar. They lock him up. He should be going down. The ultimate's not available. He flashes away. It might be enough to take him to safety. No! The boulder comes through and they find him. Now Ziv getting stunned up, has that Maelstrom available. He's mitigating as much damage as he can. That should be the disengage HKE. They don't want to lose these Baron buffs. They want to go back. They want to spend that gold. Let's take a look at this catch, though.
Okay, look at this. So Ola moves in. They can't take him out because of the unbreakable will from Alistar. But they move in. Watch Ziv. Ziv is nowhere effective to threaten the bat line. He's just soloing Mei. Westor pushed out of the fight, pushed out of the fight, and Mountain just gets taken out before he can really have an impact. Albus puts himself in the middle of the meat grinder of God JJ and Toys. Mei finally finding an impact, not really able to do anything, but boom, flash, headbutt, pulverize, knockup. Mei comes in with the wallop on the backside, makes sure that AHQ are not in this fight. Just
they
so
didn't
clutch.
move 2 feet for like 6 seconds. It was a headbutt pulverize. It was Dinter resurfacing and straight into the shock. Actually, no, there was
shockwave.
Yeah, there was a Gnar stun and then the shockwave. That was beautiful CC by HKE, and that's exactly what they need to win this game. We can see they're still down 3 towers, but now they're up in gold.
Yeah, and just this advantage, the fact that they're now tied up and going to gain more as they move around to take down these things, it's just so impressive. The differences between these teams, you can see AHQ are the team that normally get the first Baron, 71.4 to 46.4. Their Baron control rate is through the roof, but when they make mistakes like that, HKE are going to punish them. They take one back for themselves. They're moving in, they're taking the towers, and now Toys is starting to scale up the completed Seraph's Embrace. Westor.
And he gets another charm, but it's onto Ola. So one of the, the tankiest member right now on the side of HKE who are just moving forward. Dinter goes in, tries to get that knock-up onto Westor. Cannot find it. The charm not going to connect onto Mei either. Oh, huge whiff shockwave. Ola gets another massive knock-up. That's going to be God JJ taken out. Albus, so far, it's a double kill as Westor goes down as well. HKE are looking to run away with this game now. Mountain goes in. A huge Mega Gnar stun gets 2 of them into the wall. Mountain has to burn the ultimate. Ola goes back in. Another headbutt pulverize on the backside. Dinter doing what he can to stick with him, but he can't find it. But Toys takes down Ziv in the meantime. HKE are just sweeping through the base. That's going to be the inhibitor line getting broken.
Ola's Alistar is out of this world time and time again. Headbutt pulverized to break the back line.
They might look to end the game.
Can end. HKE now looking unstoppable. If you disrespect them, if you make those mistakes, they will punish you. And Ola, once again,
going right back in, but Mei now getting bound up. The Ren stacks come through. Albus will find that killing blow. HKE need to get out of here. They have the lead. They broke the inhibitor line, but they don't want to overstay their welcome. They don't want to give AHQ back the lead in this game. On their exit, they will clear out this jungle, get as much as they possibly can, but they need to get ready for Dragon spawning in 35 seconds. It'll be the 4th if AHQ can secure that.
And of course, AHQ still always threatening that 5th Dragon, especially if they can secure this 4th one. HKE have not won yet. The game is in their hands if they can keep this ball rolling, but there is still a lot of pressure to find those fights, and you know AHQ are a team that will learn and will adapt and will not keep making these same mistakes. However, we have a brief respite. This 15-second window, this 30-second window is the time for teams to reset their waves, to back off, and this is where we see the silence. This is where teams are going to have to make those clutch decisions, are going to have to go all in on this pick or back off, and whoever picks better, whoever makes the better decision in these clutch moments is going to come out on top.
Oh man, all eyes on HKE right now. Bringing back this game. We saw this in the last one, though. They had that opportunity to win the game, but their objective game just faltered, and they allowed AHQ to regain control. They cannot afford to let that happen this time around. You can see the Dragon has spawned. They're looking for increased vision, and maybe even a pick in this mid-side. Toys coming through. They actually get the shockwave on the Zip. That's going to be the pulverize. They just keep bouncing them up, and they find the kill. Mei taking away that one. They're going to have to peel out of here. Mountain showing up. They should be able to take down this tower. God JJ doing what he can with those ricochets to get this. Westor goes in, gets the charm onto Dinter, but he's a very tanky Rek'Sai. Mei gets grabbed up. The Mega Gnar, Albus getting decimated. He gets dragged out from the Fate's Call. Dinter going to the back line. He's trying to get onto On. Can he finish him off? It's not going to happen, but Toys finishes off Albus. Dinter still alive, somehow actually tunneled out to safety. I can't believe he lived right there. And HKE, they may be able to continue this one.
Oh!
No, Westor gets a huge pick on the Toys.
Westdoor coming in to save that fight for his team, but at the end of the day, HKE are still the team making the moves necessary to close out this game. Toys, with that clutch shockwave, not afraid to burn it on a single target because he knows his team has the advantage, but AHQ now pushing in. They will not give up this dragon for free. They will contest this. They know they have the win condition on the 5th dragon. Hong Kong Esports, though, playing beautifully. Ola and Toys, I feel like these guys have been playing together for a lifetime. Ola consistently keeping Westdoor out of the fights, finding the headbutt pulverized to make sure the follow-up is there, and now AHQ moving in.
Yeah, and this is huge for AHQ. If they can secure this dragon, it's the 4th, and I don't think that there can be any contention from the side of HKE. They give this one away, but from this point forward, HKE is going to have to fight. 5th dragon would be devastating. Look at this catch on the Ziv, though.
Boom. Instant follow-up. This is why I love this team. Move in. They know how to team fight. They know how to stack this CC, and they move out. I hope we get the full replay here because this is so great. May at the verge of Meganar. They push too far to try to take him down. You're going to watch him throw everyone back to his team. But look at this. Ola coming from the side. Watch this. Clutch headbutt right here as he's going to knock him out of the fight here in just a second as Westdoor starts to move in. Boom. No, sir. You do not come into my team. Everyone else gonna get taken out on. Still, though, always this backline threat, but you cannot disrespect the ball. You have to respect Toys, and just barely, as you pointed out when we first saw it, making it out. But here's Westdoor.
Yep.
Never forget Westdoor. The Westdoor effect.
Yep, just couldn't get out of the way in time of that one. Couldn't react fast enough. I believe he had his flash available, just didn't see it coming. That's what happens when you play against Westdoor, who does get his team a little bit of a reprieve on the backside of that fight. I'm taking a look at these mid-mages. 4-2-8 on the side of Toys. Up in CS ever so slightly. Westdoor 3-2-1 has the Rabbitin's Death Cap, the Void Staff, the Morellonomicon on top of his Alacrity Boots. But on this other side, you have the Archangel Staff. You have the Seraph's Embrace with Luden's Echo with that Morellonomicon. The Sorcerer's Boots and the Rabbitin's is coming in right now. There it is. That is a massive Orianna.
And of course, Toys, the majority of his team is AD focused. So there has not been any magic resist itemization outside of this Locket for Thresh, outside of this Banshee's Veil for Mountain on this Echo. So he is going to do true damage to all the squishiest members, to Westdoor, to On, even to Ziv, who only has a small piece of magic resistance here for himself. It's going to be very hard for them to deal with Toys. This is that mid to late game Orianna we were talking about. Yes, they suffered in the early game. Yes, AHQ found an advantage, but at the end of the day, they came through when they needed to, and that is why HKE is still in this game right now.
This game, and they're looking to stay that way as they start up the second Baron of the game. Could be a little bit risky. Ziv in this bot side has teleport available. He's going to go ahead and use this one. Ola trying to do what he can on the backside of this pit to stop HQ from moving in. They peel off the Baron. Very good move. Mountain goes in onto Ola. It's a little bit of damage because of that passive. That's going to be the Pulverize. He headbutts him back in. The ball moves a little bit too far forward, but the distance is just ripping through that Echo. God JJ on the hot pop. A huge twisted advance as he locks down God JJ. That's going to be him going down. Albus finishing him off with the death sentence, and now Dinter goes down as well. AHQ are blowing this wide open. Mountain, he needs to get out. I don't know that he can do it. Toys with the ball movements. There it is. They find it. Ola takes the kill, but AHQ could be poised to take the Baron.
And everything went wrong there for HKE. They split off Ola. Ola's the playmaker, the crucial member who has time and time again been able to protect God JJ from that 80 carry, and as a result, AHQ were able to do exactly what they wanted. Flash, that's never going to be Twisted Advance. Maokai was on top of him in an instant. The team was able to follow up, but now HKE are back.
Going back in to try to stop this Baron as much as they possibly can. The box comes down. Ola just getting locked in, but he's still a very tanky Alistar. Toys getting locked down by Ziv on the backside. Has to flash out. May gets caught by that charm. He hops, but he gets death sentenced in. They play him the opposite direction, though. Toys so low. He needs to get out of here. He's going to go down. Albus finds the kill, but Dinter now with the Void Rush is coming back in to try to support his team as best as he can, but Ola falls, and now it's just Dinter all on his lonesome. God JJ trying to get over here as best as he can. This is going to be AHQ going straight back into the Baron pit.
Are they going to get this? They just keep fighting. The teams know that the Baron is the tool that will end the game.
Dinter goes in over the wall. He knocks up Westdoor. That's going to be the Dark Passage. He gets taken to safety. Dinter hovering around this backside. He might go in and try to get the seal. Mountain is rejoining the team, so it's going to be a Smite War plus a Callista. If he can take this one away, it will be a miracle. God JJ doing what he can. Dinter moving in, but they might just focus him out. They will. He's going to go down after he flashes. Mountain finds the kill. They flash forward onto God JJ. He's doing what he can to kite back, but they're so tanky. They can lock him down so much. The Baron goes over. That's the ace. AHQ are just taking full control of this game once again.
AHQ find a way back in. They know when they can punish once again. You cannot miss position in these team fights. Both of these teams are so crucial. They need to protect the backline. They need to find those good initiations. And while, yes, AHQ have more flexibility, HKE can never leave God JJ alone. Ola has been the tool that has let him survive. Ola has been the tool that has kept Westor out. When Westor gets into your backline, you lose the game. And right now, that's how it's starting to look for HKE if they cannot protect God JJ.
See, Mountain is bringing up this monstrous wave into the mid lane. Double Baron-empowered siege minions ripping through that tower already. May coming up here will pop that Banshees with the stun. Throws out the boulder for good measure. Don't know that they can get any kind of catch here, though. Dinter, he gets flayed forward. They lock him down. He's going to get melted on. Finds that kill. Ola as well. Unbreakable Will coming in a little bit too late. The true damage from Westor's backswing, finishing him off. He flashes into the base. He's just melting down the health bar. God JJ has to use the Zonias, though, to keep himself alive. It looks like it will, and May is going to fall. Westor, he finds that kill as well. That's going to be the tower going down. That's going to be the inhibitor, and AHQ, I think they're going to be able to finish the game right here.
Read my name, says Westor. He takes that fight. He pushes in against both carries of the line of HKE, and he still finds the kills. He still finds the pressure.
Yeah,
and now AHQ are looking to find the game.
Yeah, for good measure, they take down Toys. They get the double ace. They take down the towers and the Nexus. AHQ now 2-0 in this best of 5. They're looking to completely shut out Hong Kong Esports.
Hong Kong Esports find a way back in, but they cannot keep it together. They can't just stay on track. They made one mistake, but AHQ will not even give you that one mistake, will not give you that one opportunity. If you do not play a flawless game against them, they will punish you, and you will find yourself with yet another loss.
Oh, and that's exactly what HKE finds themselves with. Unfortunately, just not able to close out yet again. The metagame play from AHQ is just proving to be a little bit too much for HKE to deal with. Now in a 2-0 position. The potential shutout in the grand finals here for that first seed at Worlds. The pressure is got to be so immense on the team. I just don't know if they can surmount that and move on and find themselves a victory.
And you can see, I mean, AHQ fans in the audience right now so happy with that win. So many beautiful plays coming in from Westor, from the team as a whole. In the early game, it was on, with those Callista mid-game power spikes making things happen. But once again, the late game is Westor's bread and butter. He makes those picks. He makes that impact. And Toys, despite having so many beautiful shockwaves, despite the team as 5 playing so well, small individual mistakes, small positioning errors from Ola, from Dinter, just weighing so heavily against the team, and those, once again, are the mistakes you cannot afford to make.
Just one hell of a game played from both sides. HQ looking like they're faltering a little bit there. If HKE can, figure out what they need to do to just maintain control of that game, and like run away with it, then they can take this series.
But we thought for sure that this was going to be a stomp. Everybody thought that AHQ was just going to outclass HKE. And in some ways, in those late game situations, they do. But HKE is giving AHQ a run for their money. AHQ has fallen behind. Both games really struggled to close this out. And, this could be the 3-0. We could still go to 5 games. If HKE can keep it together as a team, if they can tune up those small mistakes, those small errors that they made, everything could change. The dynamic here, the skill disparity is non-existent. These teams are neck and neck.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens when we come back. Pressure really just pushing down on top of HKE. They need to pull out a win and take this to Game 4, or they get shut out and lose that first seat at Worlds. All eyes are on them, and all eyes are on AHQ to see if they can close this out very cleanly. It's been a little bit shaky moving through these games. We'll see what happens when we come back, so don't go anywhere. We might have the conclusion of this best of 5 series.